Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in Freshman English. And we turn in your hymnals now to page 1130, 1131, Margaret Atwood's classic Siren song. I want to begin actually on page 1126, 1127 and just remind you it to be. An allusion is a reference to a literary text. And here we're obviously going to have a reference to the text called the Odyssey. You'll remember that we did that passage from the Odyssey called the Siren Song, or the Song of the Sirens. These drop-dead gorgeous women who sing to the sailors. They wreck their ships and die on the rocks. Odysseus, remember, had wax put in the ears of all of his sailors so they couldn't hear, and he had himself tied to the mast, and then he was able to hear the Song of the Sirens. Our poet is Margaret Atwood. Look with me on page 1127 quickly. We are told that much of Margaret Atwood's writing is about what it means to be a woman in a period of social change. So I would write that down already. That's important. In Siren Song, Atwood presents another of her themes, the role of mythology in people's lives. Here in Siren Song, a siren admits that her song is a cry for help that continues to lure and destroy men. Let's play that game now together. Let's just read along and then we'll exegete. Here we go. Pay close attention now. Wonderful poem.
Siren Song by Margaret Atwood. This is the one song everyone would like to learn. The song that is irresistible. The song that forces men to leap overboard in squadrons, even though they see the beached skulls. The song nobody knows, because anyone who has heard it is dead, and the others can't remember. Shall I tell you the secret? And if I do, will you get me out of this bird suit? I don't enjoy it here, squatting on this island, looking picturesque and mythical with these two feathery maniacs. I don't enjoy singing this trio, fatal and valuable. I will tell the secret to you. To you. Only to you. Come closer. This song is a cry for help. Help me. Only you can. You are unique at last. Alas. It is a boring song, but it works every time.
Now this is a fascinating poem, and I wish I had more time to work with it. Margaret Atwood is going to challenge us as students in this poem on a number of counts. By the way, do notice the construction of this poem at level 2B really quickly. Did you see it? How many stanzas? Notice each stanza divided up into how many lines. Do you see it? So Atwood is playing very much a closed game of poetics here, is she not? Number 2, notice she begins by saying, this is the one song everyone would like to learn. The song that is irresistible, the song that forces men to leap overboard in squadrons even though they see the beached skulls. In other words, the song that brings men to their own destruction even though they know they're going to be destroyed. The song, and then it's interesting the word nobody gets used. Jot down why. What's ironic, the word nobody gets used here, because nobody is the one that got to listen to the Song of the Sirens, namely, of course, Odysseus, right? Nobody knows. Shall I tell you the secret? Beginning at stanza 10, in line 10, stanza 4, shall I tell you, invites you in. It's almost as if this siren song is actually the siren's secret, and she's going to tell you something, right? Shall I tell you the secret, and if I do, will you get me out of this bird suit? Sirens were often imagined in looking as birds that would sing this beautiful song. She says it, I don't enjoy it here. Right? Squatting on this island, looking picturesque and mythical. And then we realize it. Oh, she is saying what we said when we studied Edith Hamilton's mythology. One of the greatest curses for girls in mythology is to be what? Right? Beautiful. It's the curse of all curses. Because why? Well, if you're beautiful, right? Then obviously the gods can come after you. Think of Daphne running away from Apollo and getting changed into a tree because of her beauty. Think of Zeus and all of the girls he goes after, right? Because they're beautiful. If you're beautiful, you end up, of course, in the Troy tale as Briseis or Chryseis, being taken prisoner. If you're beautiful, you're Helen, and you're taken... Oh, see what we're saying? In other words, the beauty, the picturesque, the mythical, with these two feathery maniacs, the other two sirens that are with her. And then she says it, I don't enjoy singing this trio, fatal and valuable. I will tell the secret to you, only to you. And then brilliant line 21, come closer. And a good reader of this poem, like our reader, will sometimes even whisper this, come closer. Note the irony of this. That's exactly what the Siren song does. It invites the sailors to come closer to the island and get jacked, right? But now notice linguistically she says, hey, come in closer, let me tell you. This song, she says, the Siren song, it's a cry for help. What? So it's not like a cry to destroy the sailors. No. It's a cry for help. And then she says it, help me. Well, think of Stevie Smith at 3A. Stevie Smith's classic poem, Not Waving But Drowning. Write that one down. We'll come back to it in your senior year. Not Waving But Drowning. It's a famous poem, and it plays the same game. Help me. Only you can. You are unique at last. Alas. Notice how alas and last sound very similar. It is a boring song, but it works every time. Let's jump to 3A. What is she saying? Two observations for sure. One, beauty and being defined as a woman by simply your beauty is a trap for both the woman and for the man. It goes both ways. Number two, she says, I wish I could escape. I wish I could just be what I am without being defined by my beauty. Right? It's a challenge, isn't it, right? For example, if a girl is known in Orland High School to be a beautiful girl, is that a blessing or a curse? Well, it all depends. She will often say, it's obviously nice to be considered physically attractive, but it's also terrible to always be defined by your physical beauty instead of who you really are. At 2B. Well, the rhetoric here, we've already pointed out the way that the poem is constructed. Let's point out how personal this poem is. It speaks, notice, directly. It reaches out and it speaks directly, right, to you. And to say what? Well, if you're a female reader, what does it say to you? See, notice this poem is brilliant. If you're a female reader, what does this poem say to you? If you're a male reader, what does this poem say to you? And how is it maybe a little bit different? At level 3A, we can ask this question, what is the text for you? I've already mentioned Stevie Smith's Not Waving But Drowning, but what is the text for you that suggests that things are not always what they seem? What's the text for you that suggests that a beautiful woman needs to be defined by something other than her physical beauty? Of course, at 3B, you maybe have heard that notion that it's more important to be beautiful on the inside than it is to be beautiful on the outside. You've maybe heard this idea before. Of course, this poem raises the question, do women intentionally try to trap men? Right? Is that an intentional thing? And what is the tension between guys and girls that so often seems to somehow spin around beauty, physical beauty, and the ways in which the Greeks are always playing that game in their mythology, right? A final 3B question, which will maybe sound strange at first, but write it down and you can play with it later if you're so inclined. Do you think of yourself as physically attractive? However you answer that question will have something to do with how you relate to yourself and to other people. Isn't that fascinating? The way we think about our looks has a lot to do with the way we think about our identity, who we are. But is that always right or fair? And when you begin to identify who you are, isn't it just as important or more important to think about who you are on the inside as opposed to on the outside? Well, Margaret Atwood's Siren song, a challenging text. Thank you.